Okay, show of hands if you ever have call reluctance, calling somebody. You guys have a really hard time asking for things. Even people who bust down doors are afraid to call people. How much money did you make last year?
$275. You're gonna leave, so much money on the table, and I'm here to provide help.
If you made it through part one, you've already seen how most agents think. Now it's time to see how the top performers move when the situation changes.
I'm just beating my head against the wall.
New deals, new problems, same expectation, get it done.
I didn't do it until like June, so I should have done it sooner.
Because at this level, it's not about knowing what to say.
I made a commitment, start calling probate.
It's about knowing what to do next.
50% of the work that I do is tactical. You know what the other 50% is? Lending you my belief.
This is part two.
Daniel, what's up, brother?
What's going on, man?
Looking clean, bro. I like it.
Thank you.
So you came to this event last year,
Correct, yes.
and we had never met each other, yeah?
Never.
Never.
So I was in another coaching program for 5 years, and I was in a mastermind group with those guys. And I'd go to those events, and I would a lot of people would name drop you, like Aaron Novella.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, and I'm like looking for you, and I can't find you. So I pull out Instagram. I found you on Instagram.
So wait, time out. Do you see that? He was looking for me, and he couldn't find me, but where did he go? Instagram.
Yeah. So I end up following you on Instagram, then YouTube, start watching your stuff. And then two guys in my mastermind group were like, dude, he's doing an event in Fort Lauderdale. Like, you're right down the street. You should go. We'll go too. So they came, I came. After day one, I was like, this is it for me. I was in an environment where I was talking to a coach and he was like, just hit more contacts. So I'm calling Saturdays, I'm calling Sundays. And I'm like, I'm taking listings, but like, I'm just beating my head against the wall. And he's like, hey man, it takes what it takes. How bad do you want it? Like, you gotta hit more contacts.
Wait, you told me something funny. We did a podcast together and you were sitting on he was like, I don't think you want it bad enough. And Daniel was like I do. I think I do.
Yeah. And then what also changed for me too, like I was banging my head against the wall. Me and my wife, we had our first baby in December.
Congratulations.
Thank you. And
hey, I love young people that make commitments. Let's go.
Yeah. So then what kind of changed that is like, okay, am I gonna have to just keep hitting more contacts and calling Saturday and Sunday forever? And I'm like, I don't want to do this now. So I came to the event, and then the strategies, the environment, like what Jose was talking about, and wholesaling. And I'm like, what is wholesaling, right? And all these different ways you can make money, probate. And I'm like, okay, this is definitely the environment I want to be in. The week before I came to your event, my office did like a mastermind with the top like 25 agents. The team leader was talking about how to hold effective open houses.
That's right.
When I came here, I was like, they're not talking about open houses. We went to dinner with the guys in my mastermind group, and I tell them, I'm like, you know what? I'm going to EXP.
Just like that.
Just like that. And they literally spit their food out. They're like, what? You're leaving? I was like, just like that. I'm like, I'm gone, right?
I guess I'm curious because you said multiple times to me, and I appreciate it, how much you appreciate, I guess, the proximity, but also the availability.
My wife works with me. So when we switched over to EXP, I was like, just be prepared that it's going to be kind of like challenging to get a hold of like different people, and like, our system's all set up. We would send emails to support and like that, like respond. Gabriella, like that. Like you would text me, you'd call me, check in on me. And I was like, they respond and reach out more and faster than people that were in my office, like right down the hall.
And how much has that proximity not only changed your mental map, but changed your business? Because I know you've integrated and implemented some of these strategies that we talk about.
Yeah, so I had cold callers who were calling from like a realtor perspective, and I was doing calls as well. And then Jose said to have them do cash offer calls.
Yeah.
He said that in February. I didn't do it until like June, so I should have done it sooner. But once I made that switch, it was like the lead flow just like went up. Like people were responding to cash offer. People would stay on the phone longer with us, right? And I ended up doing 9 listings from just that source alone, and then 4 wholesale deals as well.
All because he had proximity and he had the courage to implement. Remember how I said it doesn't take money to make money, it takes courage to make money. Right?
Well, the first wholesale deal I didn't meet the seller. I didn't go to the house. No inspection, no appraisal. And I ended up making $37,000.
Hey, that's pretty good, yeah? And then you did a deal with a delis.
I did, yes.
Where you weren't sure what to do.
Yes.
Talk about that.
So I had another deal that was going on. Like I didn't really know how to close it. It was a little bit more challenging. And I'm like, you know what? Let me bring her in on this. She's at the airport, and we're on the phone for like an hour.
And lets him be on the phone so he can listen to what's happening.
Yeah, she let me be on the phone, so I'm listening. She's going through it. She's negotiating. She's like, uncovering motivation, super smooth. And I literally can hear like the people in the background, like, Group B now boarding, right?
Yeah.
And Adela's just like, okay, well, I'm gonna send you the contract to e-sign. Locked up the deal. We got closing.
I feel like you were like, what just happened, bro? This is crazy.
We're texting each other like, oh my gosh, like this is crazy. So she ended up locking up the deal, and like 30 days later, I got paid again. So on a wholesale deal.
That's awesome, man.
So yeah.
Well,
so,
I appreciate you. I appreciate your presence in the ecosystem, and thank you, man. Thank you for your trust,
man. Thank you.
Appreciate you.
Thank you.
Here they are. So this young man, me and him have spent some time together. He has been dutifully and diligently coming to events, but there was like a season in which you were having a hard time implementing what you were learning. What was the challenge with the implementation part?
There was multiple. First of all, I completely got rid of the buyers.
Okay.
I would not touch them unless they were very, very motivated, which in 2024 was almost unheard of. Like very, very few of them. So I did not work with buyers. There were barely any that was sent to me by Ojo or Upcity. That's where I was getting my deals before. And I made a commitment in middle of the year, so like in the summer, to start calling probate. So
even though we talked about it for like a year, yeah?
Yeah.
Hey, anybody in this crowd have heard me talk about something for a long time and it took you a long time to do it? Raise your hand. Look around. Look around. Hey, can I make a suggestion? Stop doing that. Just do it right away, okay?
Yeah, so it took me much longer than I expected. I thought it's going to be a couple months. I'm going to take a listing and sell something.
It's a couple months. I'm going to be a millionaire.
But it was like about 6 to 7 months when I actually got paid.
He would hop on calls, bro. He'd be like, oh my God, this isn't working, bro. I don't know if this is for me. And what would my constant response to you be?
Trust me.
Yeah.
Stick with it.
Stick with it, bro. It'll work. Plan.
Prospect, lead, follow-up, appointments, negotiate deals.
That's right.
You know.
And then last year you were at a place, I mean, I told that story and I knew you wouldn't mind me telling it because the story of one is the story of all. We've all been there. You DM'd me and you're like, hey, bro, like I might need to get a job because I'm concerned I don't have enough money to pay like rent. What was it about what you learned here that actually, because I believe I noticed a complete difference. Like after that, something clicked. So what was it that clicked?
I think seeing people that make a very, very good living, doing what I was trying to do, tapping more into their sources that we have, because there's the problem that what we have is that there's so much resources, we very easily get overwhelmed. At least I do.
Yeah.
So when I overwhelmed, I don't do anything. One of the things that I took away from that event is to concentrate on one thing, like one lead source, one way of reaching out to them. I was asking you about different scripts using like different.
I know. I was like, yo, if Martin Scorsese wrote a script, would you tell him to change it? And he was like, no. I'm like, so why are you telling me to change the script, bro? Just use it.
Yeah.
The amount of progress that a man or woman experiences is directly correlated to the amount of truth that they can withstand. This man can withstand truth. You did how much last year? Like how many deals, how much money?
So yeah, 2024, I made, again, worst year of my life, 60,000, and 25, 250,000.
250,000, let's go. Appreciate you, brother. Way to go.
What's going on, man?
Yeah, chilling. So Chris, you've been in the business how long?
21 years.
21 years. Yeah, it's a long time.
I'm a late bloomer.
Yeah. So the marketplace shifting and changing, despite all of your experience, actually affected you a lot, yes?
Yeah. Just after COVID, everyone did well, right? Anybody could do well. But 24 for me was fine. I did great. But towards the end of 24, I started to see everything just like plummet. I was a big Zillow agent and I had my sphere and my past clients and I was making well over 200. And then all of a sudden it started to drop. 7 months of Zillow created 0 results at a decent spend.
And what did that cause you to feel internally?
Panic.
Were you actually considered getting a job? Yes.
Yeah, that came later because I had 0 coming in. Zillow disappeared. I canceled it. Z-Buyer wasn't working fast enough. I wasn't a prospector. I hadn't prospected since maybe 2010 when I first met you and Jose. I didn't like the scripts from Mike Ferry. They just didn't sit well. And it wasn't until recently that we reconnected and I read your scripts. I'm like, this makes sense. But I wasn't a prospector. And so Zillow and all the other stuff just wasn't working. And I just don't have enough past clients and sphere to sustain my livelihood.
Then we had a series of straightforward conversations, yes?
Yeah.
And if you were to surmise those conversations, what is the summation?
An internal conflict of my being a salesperson. And then there was also that I needed to decide whether I was in or out. I decided to stay in because you helped me overcome the internal conflict of being the salesperson. And that staying in, if I saw it through, I can make it through.
Yeah, and here's what I want you to think of. So a double-minded man or woman is no good in either direction. Like, I don't play to participate, I play to dominate. In order to dominate, I need to be all in. Be all in. You have to be all in to be balling. And then the other thing which I find very fascinating is if I was to ask a crowd like this, because there's results, then there's behaviors, and most people come to me and they say, hey, I want to get this result, so can you teach me the behavior? Yeah? But what we don't realize is behind the behaviors are beliefs. And if we don't address the beliefs, the behaviors will never stick. How many people have this belief? Salespeople do good and solve problems. If you do not have the belief internally that salespeople do good and solve problems, you will never be a great salesperson because you don't believe that sales is a noble profession. Do you realize salespeople are to the economy what screenwriters are to Hollywood? Without screenwriting, do you have any movies? But this young man had been in business for 21 years and he harbored a belief that sales is like a little icky. Just so you know, this is legal. You could sell as much as you want, guys. Once you rectified that internal belief, started calling probates, what started to happen?
Started getting listings.
Oh, wow, look at that. Started to take listings. Then you started to get more involved in the community, yes?
There's just so many instances where everyone in the group, starting with you, has been helpful. One example, being in the prospecting room, Jessica's prospecting room with Mark Ramey and all the, with Ilya, with Brent, I've been able to hear them and learn from them. And so on this last transaction that I'm doing with Idelis, I was hearing Mark close cash offer leads, which I wasn't involved in. I haven't done a wholesale deal since 2019, but I'm hearing him close so smoothly. I'm like, how'd you do that, Mark? He's like, oh, it's Idelis' scripts. And from hearing him, when it actually presented the opportunity with my listing,
you were like, oh, I know what to say.
I knew exactly what to say and it worked.
The people that you see on stage, whether it's me or Alex or Jeff or anyone else, what I've come to recognize, having worked with humans for over 10 years in a coaching capacity, is that 50% of the work that I do is tactical strategy, things of that nature. You know what the other 50% is? Lending you my belief. In order to step out of the boat, you need to step out in faith. That type of faith is rare, and if you have it, you should lend it to your brothers and your sisters. Because by lending him that belief, he goes and does it. And then you know what happens? Everybody starts to get to the results. Do they need my belief anymore? Who has it? And then what they can do, share it with everybody else. Does that make sense? And that last deal that you did, how much money are you going to make from that one transaction? 40,000 bucks from one deal. And you know what was great? We were talking about it, and this is a testimony to the community because we were on a group call and we were giving him props like, oh, 40 grand. You think he won like an Oscar. He's like, first I want to thank Aaron. I want to thank Jessica and the Role Play Group. I want to thank Mark Ramey for doing it. Like, it was fantastic, but that's a testimony to everybody helping each other. Does that make sense? Do you know how rare that is?
But so many people have helped me throughout all this time, throughout this year, get to where I'm at now.
And that's the power of community. So I appreciate you, brother. Thank you so much for sticking with me.
Appreciate you, man.
Glad
Thank
you're
you.
here.
Love you.
So I'll make sure I speak up so you can hear me.
Can you hear me?
And you hail all the way from the other side of the country, yes? Where do you work and sell real estate?
I am in Eugene, Oregon.
You initially came to the ecosystem. You had been in real estate how long?
Well, I got my license in 2021, and I think I joined you guys like
last year.
In 2024.
Okay, so you may be there for like a couple years,
I think it was
right?
in the spring of 2024.
And what was your experience those first couple of years?
So I joined during the pandemic when we were all quarantined, couldn't leave our house, and it was with Keller Williams, and they wanted us to make 10 contacts a day. I was going through a training where it was all through Zoom, and they wanted us to get everybody that we knew, our sphere of influence, and start calling them. The problem was I didn't have a sphere. So I was kind of like, well, how do you make your 10 contacts? You know what I mean? So I was like going to the convenience store and like the guy there, I'm like, hey, like just talking to like random people, like feel like a total loser. Cause then they're like calling you, they're like, how many contacts do you make? I'm like 2, it's like the guy at the convenience store who wasn't buying real estate. So I had 0 deals.
0 deals.
0.
In how long? How long?
I didn't get my first deal until I was a year into real estate.
Anybody got into real estate and somebody sat you down and said, hey, do you have 6 months worth of money? Because you're going to be broke for 6 months. Yes. Is that ridiculous? Like, what in the hell are you talking about, man?
So I tried doing open houses. They did tell us to put the name tag on your,
hey, guys, I'm not making this up. This is like real life. Okay.
What I did for work before that, I'm an artist and I was doing outdoor markets and things like that. That was all shut down. So I was basically unemployed. So I was doing like Grubhub you just start watching videos, we're getting books, trying to figure this thing out. And then I was like, I just need to like find some people that are doing really well that are like new agents or people that have only been in the business like 1 or 2 years longer than me. I met Josh,
You met Josh,
actually.
yep.
I randomly went to a softball game and he happened to be there, and he was a big door knocker. And I was like, that does not sound like me. So he was like, well, how about you try cold calling? And I didn't even know that you could get a dialer.
You could do that? I didn't even know that was a thing.
Yeah, I didn't even know it was a thing. It's like, how does your brokerage not even tell you about that opportunity? It's like, oh. So I immediately signed up for it, started cold calling, terrible at it. I had no idea what I was saying. Like people would be like, yeah, I am interested in selling real estate. And I'm like, oh, really? I just followed up with this one lady for a really long time. And she finally turned into a closing. I went on a date with some guy on like a dating thing. Yeah. We got to be friends. We didn't end up dating, but he like gave me
pre-qualified.
What? He had some client that he had from an open house and he didn't want them. He thought they were kind of annoying. So he was like, do you want to help them? And I was like, sure. So they ended up actually being my first sale.
And then you got into the community and I would see you on calls, and this is also a pattern. All of these people ask lots of questions. If you find yourself in a position to be in proximity who's somebody who's produced a favorable outcome you wish to produce consistently over an extended period of time, do you know what you should promptly do? Ask questions and shut up and take notes. And then you got involved in probate.
Probably 6 or 7 months before I tried it. And I was broke. I was like, you know what? I mean, I did have a little bit of money, but I was like, I remember hearing Heath on a call who was like, or he was talking about how he did 20 transactions working part-time. And I don't know if anybody here has a hard time blocking and like working on your schedule. That's always been really hard for me. So I'm like, if he can do it working part-time, I could probably
do it full-time, probably. Yeah.
So I took the class.
Yeah, probate course that I offer.
Probate course.
She hops on a call 30 days in. She's like, hey, I took a probate listing. I was like, great. That's amazing. You know what she was doing? She didn't even know what to do. She was ChatGPTing like, hey, what should I be doing? Like,
you have this idea that there's like specific knowledge that you don't have when you're going to go do probate, that it's like scary. And that was always kind of what held me back from doing it. Turns out you really don't need to know anything, because it's like they're able to like list the property. And you have your license so you can list it. And you just email the stuff to the lawyer. I mean, there is stuff you need to know, but it's nothing that's like so extraordinary that
as my daughter would say,
it's going to hold you back from selling.
It's not that deep. Okay.
It's really not.
And since doing that, how many probate deals have you done?
I think 9.
9 probate deals. That's pretty
I have
dope.
one under contract right now.
So I appreciate you. Thank you for being on those calls. Thank you for asking all the questions. Let's give these people an amazing round of applause.
What you're about to hear is part 1 of a powerful 2-part conversation with some of the most driven and high-performing real estate agents in the game. These aren't just theories or surface-level ideas. This is real experience, real challenges, and real results from people who have put in the work and figured out what actually moves the needle. In this first part, we dive into the mindset shifts, the struggles behind the scenes, and the exact moments where things started to click. If you're looking for fluff, this isn't it. If you're looking for something you can actually apply, pay close attention.
We've all gone to meetings where it's a lot of rah-rah and fluff and you can do it, and it doesn't really help me at all. Even people who bust down doors are afraid to call people.
These people actually need assistance, and I'm here to provide help.